go ahead and dive into how you guys are using GeoJuice, across your projects.
Sure, that's no problem. And what we really did is once we kind of had a grasp of what the software was and what we were trying to accomplish across the board, we really embraced it. And so we made it a part of our culture. In our staff meetings following signing up and committing to GeoJuice, we really made it part of our routine, part of our protocol to use this, to use it often, to use it as well as we can, and to consistently monitor and improve on what we're doing. And so what we came up with just through what felt natural to us was that once that we received a lead for whatever it is, a roof, gutters, siding, windows, whatever, and our estimator is assigned the lead, he goes out to the home, does his estimate, his inspection, his walkthrough with the homeowner, takes all the pictures that he's going to take and makes his notes. And when he gets back to his vehicle, before he leaves the driveway, he's going to go through his pictures, and we have kind of a protocol where we want to be selective with what picture we're putting on. So we'll select a photo that meets our criteria, and we'll go ahead and write a description on it. And through trial and error, we've come to find out that obviously we want to do the things that trigger keywords in search browsers, and we want to write our description in a way that makes that post the most beneficial that it can possibly be. So he'll go ahead before he even leaves the house upon inspection, before we even have the business, and we'll make a post, and like the one you saw a couple slides ago where Gordon was checking for leaks in a tile roof. We'll even try and go into deeper detail than that. We'll say things like inspecting for leaks around a chimney. We'll be proposing to do a chimney flashing system replacement. And if we're using a specific brand product, we'll call out that brand. If we're using a specific gauge of metal, we'll call out that gauge of metal. If we're using a popular color, we'll go ahead and call that out also, because all of those things could be words that a potential client of ours or somebody that's online looking at this content, that would be something that they may even input into a browser that would prompt our web page. So that's kind of step one is on inspection. What we decided was, because we didn't know who was watching our internet traffic, we decided that we wanted the picture to be not to be super duper obvious. So in other words, we're not taking full house photos from the front yard, from the road view, just because we didn't know who was looking. And at this point, this is not our client. This is just somebody that's asked for an estimate. So our initial pictures are typically close up, or shot from the backyard, or shot from on top of the roof, where we'll grab a picture of the problem close up. That way, when we go to post it, whether we're posting it leaving the driveway, or we're posting it at the parking lot, waiting on the next appointment, we're posting it close to the job, but we're not so obvious with our post that somebody could become upset with the fact that their house was used, or a competitor could be tracking our movements. I know it's hyper paranoid, but that's what we decided, and so that's photo number one. Step two, we'll typically, once we have a quote on in somebody's hands, we'll typically make a second or third trip back to the house with samples to review the proposal, to talk financing arrangements, to meet with a spouse that wasn't at initial appointment. For whatever reason. So we'll typically have a second or third touch before we have a contract. And on the second touch, we'll take a picture of the sample board propped up against the siding, or if we tack sample shingles on the roof, we'll take a picture of that, and we'll GeoJuice about it. We'll go ahead and make a post. It gives you, it kind of starts a timeline. It also is a mental reminder for us of what we were doing out there. But again, it's about activity, and frequency. So we'll put the second post up, and once we come back to pick up a contract, or to make pre-job inspection or anything like that, you see the pattern coming. Every time we're at the house, we're planning on taking pictures, and we're planning on posting those and writing descriptions about them. And then, of course, kind of the bread and butter, the interesting post for the casual observer are the project pictures. So once we've started a project, we'll get a picture of damaged decking or damaged rafters or whatever it is that we uncover. And we'll go ahead and post about that. It's a great post to make because you may have the DIYer out there saying, how do I replace a damaged piece of decking on my roof? And so it's prompting words and search cues that may be a little off topic and different than what you would usually think, but just by posting what it is that we're doing, we're covering all across the spectrum of what people could be looking at online, looking for online, and hopefully finding their way back to us. I mean, maybe somebody searches something that's got to do with installing, and we've got a post on it. Maybe that's just reviewing stuff online. They decide I better leave this to a professional, which most homeowners will for roofing issues. And so we want our wording and our traffic to drive these searches, to drive people to us as an option to make a call on. So we will take, if it's a fast job, a single day job, we may only have 1 or 2 pictures, but we will post and write descriptions on those. If it's a long-term job, a slate roof, a metal roof, or a larger commercial roof, that takes 4 or 5 weeks to complete the work, we'll have as many GeoJuice posts as we can remember to put on. And so, while every visit to the house during the course of a project may not yield a GeoJuice post, there is some forgetfulness when you're running material or checking on potential items or making sure the contract is satisfied, that you'll forget on one trip to take a picture, or you'll forget to make a post. But it is okay, during this process to dig back through old pictures that you've taken from the house during the first visit and go ahead and post about that. I mean, the visit to the home or to the job site itself should be the reminder to be geojuicing. And so to really embrace this, we have this great tool and we want to use it to the fullest of its abilities. And so we want to invest what is required of us to make this a successful tool, to make this a successful result for us. And that is by using this and engaging with the app and being vigilant and disciplined to make sure that this is a part of the process. I mean, it takes maybe 20 seconds before you leave the job to go on to the next run to make this post. And if you forget during the day, I mean, it's not a failure. There have been days where I'll arrive at my house, which is at the northern corner of our service area, and I'll load 4 GeoJuice from my house in the evening time to get that thermal reading to show my territory. So when people look at the geography and places we've served and reviews we've had, I want them to see that we have coverage. And so it's about being disciplined with it. It's about even if you've forgotten to post one, to come up with a way to go ahead and get it on there. It doesn't take any time while you're actually working on site to do this. And if you get away from the place and you've got 10 minutes waiting on somebody else, you can catch up on the 2 or 3 that you had from that morning. One of the other tips that we do with our guys, I mean, keep in mind this is 7 guys. We're asking them to do 3 or 4 a day. We were doing so many posts that we ended up putting a cap on how many we wanted to make it to Facebook, so we didn't, beat down our followers with 100 Hinkle posts. But we do want to instill that into our guys that it's important. And so if they're hitting 3 a day at 7 people, 20 posts a day, 5 days a week in a work week. I mean, it's conceivable to have 100 posts if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. And that really kind of segues into the section of asking for reviews and what all that brings up. But I would just encourage you, if you have the program or if you're looking at the program, if you're timid around this or if you feel like it's too much to ask, I'll tell you, it's really not too much to incorporate this into your daily routine. It becomes second nature. And it's even something to kind of to compare stuff with. We'll have colleagues of ours that'll call and say, "Hey, I didn't realize you had a call on a standing seam metal roof today. and they will have seen it on, in posting their GeoJuice though, and reviewing our work for the day. And so it helps us kind of stay together and communicating, even in-house, which was an unintended side effect. But all that to say, you really have to just invest into doing this right, to being disciplined with this, and to making this routine.